Hey y'all, Yak Squatch Fishing. Gonna be doing a whiteboard tutorial, kind of stealing a method from Captain C.A. over at Flatsclass TV. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in the description below because I've definitely learned a lot watching his stuff, so I highly recommend it. So this short video is going to be about primarily about fishing islands in current and how best to approach and kind of areas to focus on islands. So what we have here, hopefully the drawing's not too busy, but so we have our island. In this case, it's a relatively long and skinny one. Shape of the islands are going to vary quite a bit, but more often than not, if you're in an area with a lot of current, you'll typically have islands that are long and skinny, facing the same kind of direction as the currents. So in this case, we got a current on the page going from left to right, and this represents in the video clips you're about to see an incoming tide. So we're going to go ahead and focus on the back half of the island. Notice how we have, actually, let me go back. All right, so we have the current coming here and then splitting and going on either side of the island. Down the island and then kind of rejoining on the back side. Again, down the side of the island, rejoining at the back. And these corners are where you're going to want to focus on. Typically what you're going to have, if there's fish holding on these islands, they're typically going to be off to either side, kind of faced into the current, usually right off of the edge of the current as bait kind of gets swept along. And then again on the backside, as bait gets swept along the island and then curls in, you'll typically have fish sitting on some of these corners at the back. Now, sometimes depending on how complex the island is, if it has like a little point sticking out, you can also get these secondary points where you'll have fish potentially sitting here. So now, anytime you come up to an island, I mean, definitely cast all the way around it, but these types of areas are where you're going to want to focus on. So the clip coming up, you'll see me, well, you won't be able to see much context because at water level, when it's relatively dark, but basically I had the kayak kind of sitting right here in the lee of this island, and I tried both corners and I ended up getting hooking up to two snook on this side, lost one and I landed the other. So, and it was textbook case where I was casting basically the kayak. I know that's a bad drawing. Anyway, kayak right here, I threw across, casted here, and then brought my lures back across this corner and got two really good hits right in that area. I did fish here. That particular island did have a few secondary points that I did fish. I didn't catch anything there. But this clip coming up is going to be of one of the snook that I got on this back corner in a exactly textbook case, fishing across the back corner or in the lee of the island. There we go. Oh, there we go. That's a small snook, but it's a snook. All right. Look at that pretty little snook. Probably 18 inches. All right, buddy. Bye-bye. Go, go. All right, y'all. So now, talking about kind of the front of these islands as well. As I was coming down the island, and actually a little bit of a bonus, I noticed over here in this area, while I was still well away from the end of the island, or the top up current end of the island, I noticed a bunch of birds diving. Saw pelicans and ospreys both. 2 or 3 pelicans and at least a half dozen ospreys that were diving around the up current point of the island. So I knew something could be going on there. anytime you see birds diving, regardless of where they are, go and investigate, because if there's enough bait fish to attract aerial predators, then there's probably going to be enough bait fish to attract underwater predators. So definitely check. And then at the same time, you have this current pattern right here, where you have the current hitting the island and then wrapping around either side. And as I approach this clip coming up, you'll see me casting across the up current point and then working. So I was kind of here drifting with the wind. The wind was pushing me this way, and I cast it up here and worked that Molotron swim bait across the island coming back this way. So it was going the same direction as the current, basically mimicking what a bait fish would be doing when it's being swept and pushed along that current. And you'll see the fish that I caught, in this case, again, on that corner of the island. So just something to be aware of. In this case, I did check basically all four corners of that island, and there were only fish on these two corners, but those are the areas to focus on. Maybe make 1 or 2 casts just as you keep moving, but definitely make at least 2 or 3 casts at every corner before you go on. So hopefully this is educational, and enjoy this last clip of the fish I caught, and see y'all next time. There's a fish. Oh, 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 damn. No, no, no. He's out, he's out, he's out. Oh, that's a good fish. Oh. Back off the drag a bit. That's a good fish. All right, let's get him. No, 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 no. Let's get you away from this stuff. What are you, buddy? That's a good fish. Come on, buddy. All right, come on, big guy. Oh, 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 nope, nope, nope. All right. There we go. Got him with the bugger grips. Oh, look at that. All right, buddy. Cool. Okay. There he goes.